Okay, I think you all can see this, right? Okay. How did I come about with the idea of planets or planet art? I stumbled upon these pictures by NASA, and these are pictures of Saturn and Jupiter. And if you see, when I saw these gaseous rings, we know Saturn and Jupiter are gaseous planets. So when I saw these rings, the immediate thing that struck my mind is, oh my God, Nara rounds. And why can't I create the same thing on these rounds and create planets? So I wanted to do the same thing. So I immediately sat down to give it a try, and man, I was happy. I was ecstatic to try it. Second picture of Jupiter, when I saw these textures on this. These are gaseous movements, so I wanted to create this texture also in my planet art. So I tried that as well, and the results were, I was very happy with the results. So you will see if you like it or not in today's demo. So let's begin. I'm going to be using the colors Silky Turmeric, Stormy Purple, English Horse, and Brinjal Date. These are the 4 colors that I'm going to be using. In order to give a spherical shape, okay, we'll be painting, okay, before I begin, we'll be painting with a brush and the inks only. There's no hair dryer required for this. So I will be using the hair dryer to just quicken the process, to hasten the process. So I'll be pouring the inks directly onto the brush and then starting my painting, okay. So I'll begin with English Horse because we see the top and the bottom portion of planets are usually dark because of the way the light hits the sunlight hits the planets. So I'll be starting with English Horse. Can you put on some music in a very low volume? Thank you so much. Yeah, so we'll give it a spherical shape. Okay, I'm taking a flat brush because I'm comfortable with a flat brush. If you guys want to take a round, you feel free to use the rounds. A little more tinge of English Horse. And there you go. The top of my planet is done. Now before I take in the next color, I have an option to wash my brush, okay, or what do I want to do? I want to create a lighter hue of the same. So I'm going to put in a little IPA on the brush directly because I know it's going to lighten the pigment and give me a very diluted version of the ink. When you start doing the second layer, it's important to remember that you start somewhere a little away from the line because those who are new to alcohol inks, the inks tend to merge together and they create a third hue or they blend together. So it's important we start from a distance and move again towards spherical shape, and we keep moving our brush. The way we move our brush creates the texture of the gaseous look that we saw on the Saturn. Spherical movement, semicircle strokes, okay, and there I have got my lighter hue. All right, now I want to take Silky Turmeric. So I want to wash my brush before I take Silky Turmeric because I don't want the brown and the Silky Turmeric to merge. So I'm washing it, I'm dabbing and cleaning the brush. And taking the Silky Turmeric directly onto my brush. Again, I've left a little gap if you see. And now I'll slowly go up to merge. I love the bright hue of silky turmeric. It's so beautiful and rich. Very nice. So my planet is slowly taking into shape. And I want to darken the English horse. Again, I'm not washing, if you noticed. I'm not washing, I'm directly applying the silky turmeric. I want to give it a darker hue. Yeah, now I'm happy. I'm going to dry this a bit just to hasten the process. Wash my brush again. And I think I'll again go for English horse. I can't get over English horse. I think you can choose any color that you want, but I'm going to do another layer of English horse. Again, I'm leaving a gap and then I'm starting, okay? And then I'll go about blending the same again in a semicircular motion. The more IPA, the more textures form. And my strokes are giving the gaseous texture on the planet. So the more back and forth I go, the more strokes that I give, it'll be richer looking. Don't worry about these gaps. We will cover them with lines later, okay? So, am I happy with this? Let me just go back and forth a little more till I'm satisfied. Okay, I think I'll leave it at that. Now I'll take Stormy Purple. This is Stormy Purple. I'll take a generous amount of it. Why do I choose these shades? I want to keep the top light, and as we move towards the center and below, whichever photographs that I look at planets, I always find the lower portion a little darker than the top. So I'm going to play with a little darker hues down here. So that's Stormy Purple. Again, if you noticed, I left a gap because I wanted to keep that light discs. This actually reminds me of the geography class where we study the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, and the differentiation that we create. The Arctic Circle. Okay, I want the Stormy Purple to be a little more darker, so I'm going to dry this and apply a little more ink directly on the brush. There you go. I think this is good enough. Now I think without washing the brush, I'll take in brinjal date. Let's see what hue it creates. Brinjal date is a very vibrant pigment, a very bright one, so it adds a lot of value. You must be wondering, oh my god, what a stark difference in the color. But wait till I blend the next shade and you will see the hue changing. That's all that I'm going to do with brinjal date. Okay, I'm not going to wash the entire pigment off. I'm going to add a little yellow. And give a little symmetry with the yellow color here. And I will not leave the line now. I will blend it with brinjal date. And look at that shade that's being created. Now I'll add a little silky turmeric. Just a little. And finally, I started with English horse, so I'm going to finish with English horse just to bring in a little amount of symmetry. Direct application of inks here. Again, a spherical shape, semicircle movements. A little blending will happen with the silky turmeric, but it will give you a round. Okay, I'm more comfortable doing it the opposite way, so I'm going to use the stroke like this so that I get the circle right. Now you see there are lines that are formed. Okay, we will accentuate those lines. What we'll do is we have a choice to use a color or just the IPA to lift. Okay, I will first show how to lift the pigment. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use a watercolor pen like this. I normally fill it with IPA. Fill this into this and then use this brush to lift off. So I'm going to draw a line here just to highlight, and I'll lift off a little bit of. So the tendency of IPA is to separate the inks, move the inks away, so it creates a barrier, and I have a nice line formed which highlights with a light tinge. Okay, I can do the same here. If you don't want to do this and you want to highlight your planet with a little bit of gold, you're free to do that. You can use gold, metallic gold to highlight. I even have planets where I've used gold pens to highlight. So that's a personal choice of the artist, what they want to do, how you want your planets in your universe. I'll show you one stroke with inks. I'm going to use brinjal or probably, let me see, I'll use English horse again, a little partial to that color. I'm going to create a line here. Let's see how it looks. You can keep reworking with the inks. All the alcohol ink artists know that a little bit of IPA and a little bit of ink gets everything activated until you seal or varnish. So I always can continue to play with the inks till I'm satisfied. Okay. I am quite happy, though I would want to work a little longer on that, but just to show you and move ahead, I'll go about creating a little bit of textures to show. Take a little IP after you've washed your brush. Make sure your brush is absolutely clean. Drop in a little IPA, dab the excess, and I think I'll create textures here. So what I'm going to do is lightly touch on the yellow. A little goes a long way, so I think a little IPA that you take, you can actually continue. This is an 8-inch diameter Nara round. If you take a 6-inch, it's much faster. Do I want to create a texture here? Yes, I might want to. So let's see how it will look. I have a habit of naming my planets. Let's see what I'm going to name this. In my own imaginary world. That's how I want to leave that texture. And do I want to accentuate a little bit more? I think I want a line on top as well. I keep reworking on my pieces. Speaks a lot about me. So I keep reworking till I'm happy. You also have an option to add gold directly, so you can use the Nara Golden Bake. I've done a planet with that. I'll show you after I'm done with this. Very interesting shine and glimmer. So one option is to use the gold directly, and as you're applying you have to use the dryer so that the gold doesn't spread. Or another way is, simpler way, is to use a pen. So I use a Posca golden pen, and I can just choose to highlight the ring with the gold. This is a very subtle gold, so I can choose to highlight with that. I can probably add another line just to camouflage the little spread that happened here, and that kind of beautifies it as well. Do I want to do more? Probably another line of gold here. It looks quite bright on the Stormy Purple. This is Stormy Purple, and the little rim that you see is brinjal dates. Just a little tinge of that brinjal adds so much value to the painting. Yeah, so that's that. That's my planet for today. Very simple and easy to try, and I'm sure all of you will give it a try. I'm going to name this planet Atos. What is the time right now? It's about 8:23. So I'm going to name this planet Atos 0823. How's that? Okay, I'll wait for your comments to come in to know what it is. Let me show you some of the work that I've done with planets since the time I discovered this beautiful, amazing result of the simple strokes, simple brush strokes. I have continued to make many planets, and I'll show you some of them, not all. This is one. This is our Atos 0823. This was the piece that you saw on the Nara post. Here also I've used the same combination, but my movement is a little different. If you see, the stormy purple is dominant here, and I did the texture on the red part or the pink part. Here, when I blended, it created a red hue, and I created the textures, a more rocky structure here. So again, it's a choice that you have. I also will show you some other color combinations. This is a lighter version using the blue. This is Satin Sea. This is Pastel Evening and Starlit Hues. So just using 3 shades, Starlit Hues, Satin Sea and Pastel Evening, and controlling the usage of IPA, continuous brush strokes in a semicircle pattern, this planet was made. Let me show you this one. It's one of my favorites. This is using gold. Nara Golden Bake. It has a nice shiny shimmer to it, you know. It's got a nice shine and glistening. I call it the glistening gold. They have named it Golden Bake. I call it the glistening gold, and it adds a nice shimmer to it. Here also I have used Starlit Hues, Golden Bake. So these 3 layers are pure Golden Bake, English Horse, and this is a blend of Starlit Hues and a little bit of brown, which gives it a smoky black feel to the planet. Yeah, so that's how the planet demo is, and I finally come to the end of the demonstration. Now I will turn the camera towards my side and make the announcement that I'm so eager to make. So give me a minute, kindly bear with me please.